everyone, it's Frankie here without Dan today because as you may or may not have noticed, our podcast has been on hiatus. Dan has been travelling, moving interstate and busy with general dad duties. But I've missed talking about films, so I am going to create a new little series. So this series I'm going to call Frankie's Film Diary, and as the title suggests, I am just going to be chatting about the films I have been watching, and I will be focusing on my physical collection because I really want to get to a lot of things there, but it won't be exclusively that. Some videos will be a single film that I would like to highlight, especially perhaps the boutique labels or specific projects I'm working on, but I may also do like a monthly roundup as well, just to talk about the films that I don't need a full video to talk about, but still would like to chat about because chatting about movies is fun. So I have one sort of main project. Well, yes, I guess actual project. I have one main one at the moment, which is my John Leguizamo 100 project, which, as you may have guessed, is watching 100 of his films. And this is a project that is a chronological order project. And because I discovered when I have a story, I'll get into it later, but I discovered that he's been in a lot of films and a lot of them are actually quite available, which is rare for a lot of actors that started pre-2000s. And I have here, just as an example, I have picked up a stack from eBay and Roundabout, and I'm about 15 movies in. I think I'm up to the early 90s. And so, yes, I will be focusing on that because I want to try and finish that project. And I also have my boutique labels. As you can see, this is my Radiance collection, goes right down. I have everything they've released as at the time of recording this. They are my favorite label at the moment. They have done some really fantastic releases. Most of the stuff I've never heard of, so I've made some great discoveries. And yes, but I will get into some of the things I have that I am hoping to get to soon. Things like horror, my favorite genre, and I have a lot to get to with the folk horror. I also have volume 1 that I haven't watched everything yet. I have a lot of box sets around, a lot of franchises, things like that. So I'm looking forward to exploring, and also while I'm focusing on watching these films, I will be having some re-watches as well, especially if I'm wanting to finish a franchise or just want to watch my favorites again. Westerns. These are pretty new to me. I've only really been watching Westerns for the last 5 or 10 years perhaps. So I still know pretty much nothing, and I am exploring with things like these Arrow box sets. And I also have a couple of random things, like I just want to highlight this, A Bullet for the General, which I don't know how good this will be, but it has Gian-Maria Volonté in, who is a recent discovery thanks to Radiance, and Klaus Kinski. So, I mean, with those two, could be the worst movie in the world, and it won't be quite so bad because they're in it. Some dancing and cheerleading movies. We gotta have some fun. I've watched 1 or 2 from the franchises, but not the whole thing. It's a journey I want to take. Another kind of mini project, not official. I had one over a decade ago that's languishing on my Letterboxd lists, but basically it's watching films that are huge, big classics, or just really infamous, and I haven't seen them yet. Things like Cool Hand Luke, The Red Shoes, Apocalypse Now, Breakfast at Tiffany's, Taxi Driver, and here's a confession. I picked up this 4K box set of classic Hollywood. This is the 30s to the 60s. This has 5 films: The Wizard of Oz, Citizen Kane, Casablanca, Singin' in the Rain, Rebel Without a Cause. I have only seen The Wizard of Oz from this set. So yes, I need to get watching these films. Okay, let's get into some actors. If you know the podcast, you know that a lot of my movie watching revolves around actors that I either get interested in, or you'll notice there's a lot more male actors because I get crushes and I want to watch them. So also, as I've been getting into classic cinema over the years, I'm finding there's so many like well-known actors that I've suddenly realized I haven't actually seen any of their films and have started working on that. So when I come across a box set that's cheap and has a bunch of movies from actors, I'm taking the chance. So I have things like this Marilyn Monroe collection, which has 9 films, 8, it says it right there, 8 movies. I have seen one of these, I think, yes, just one. So I need to see more of Marilyn Monroe. I've heard about her my whole life, obviously. Haven't really watched her film. Rock Hudson. The great thing about classic actors is you can pick up sets like this for cheap because they're old movies, and sadly lots of people don't want old movies. So this has 10 movies. Have I watched any of these yet? No, I have not actually got to any of these yet, so looking forward to it. And when Viavision were doing some epic crazy sale, I managed to get this for quite a low price. I can't remember what it was now. Was it half price? Maybe less? I don't remember. But films of Marlon Brando, because he's another actor that I actually haven't seen many of his films. Have not seen the famous ones until I watched The Godfather last year. This doesn't have his famous ones, but it does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for me to watch, so I can get an idea of Marlon Brando. Okay, a few more classic things. I've got some Bing Crosby. I've got some Bob Hope. And I've got some Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. So looking forward to these. Bob Hope was quite a discovery. I had no idea who he was until I think Imprint put out a couple of his films, and I watched, I can't remember the title. It's a movie that there's a bunch of versions where someone dies and they go to the house for the night, but Bob Hope was so fun in that, and it made me want to watch a lot of his films, so I'm slowly working on that. And let's not forget Gregory Peck, because it's Gregory Peck. He's probably one of my favourite classic actors, although I did finally watch a Clark Gable film in the last couple of years. So, I don't know. We'll see how things stand after I've watched a few more of each of their movies. Brad Dourif. Gotta love Brad Dourif, right? So many interesting movies in his filmography. Some hidden gems I have found through going through his filmography, and some not so great ones. Found these. Hopefully they're okay. You know, we'll see. It's a fun journey. Unexpected things to be found. Jake Gyllenhaal. I've slipped on watching his filmography because I watched that TV show he did where he was a terrible person, and it just really put me off him for a while, but I gotta get back into it. These I have on my shelf, and this one, bonus Jennifer Anderson and John C. Reilly. So hopefully 3 times the fun. Cillian Murphy. Getting through his filmography. This is another project that slowed down a bit. And this one also has Andrew Scott. So it has pretty terrible ratings and reviews. So we'll see. I'm intrigued to see how this goes, having 2 favorites in a terrible movie. Potentially terrible movie, I should say, because I don't always agree with the consensus, of course, because we all have our different thoughts. And let's just highlight a few randoms before I get into my top 2 that are my priority at the moment. So, Keira Knightley, Richard Coyle, Andy Garcia, Emma Stone, and Casey Affleck. Okay, so an actor that I just in the last few years have really come to enjoy and focus on, Sylvester Stallone. So these are some I have on my shelf. Cobra I have seen before, but not this lovely 4K version, so I'm looking forward to checking that out because I did really enjoy the film when I saw it the first time. And my most recent obsession, Al Pacino. I watched Dog Day Afternoon. Was it just last year? Or was it the year? But I think it was only just last year, maybe. I watched Dog Day Afternoon. It was my first time seeing Pacino young and absolutely loved that movie, and it's taken me on a journey. But these, I still have not watched these ones yet, so I need to get onto it. So those are some actor ones, and now let's get into some of the labels that I will be focusing on because I really enjoy what they put out. Starting local, we have Imprint. I love that I can just go pick these up from a store because all the others I have to import and pay shipping. So these are perhaps the 4 that are top priority, at least how I'm feeling today, because I'm a mood watcher. Indicator puts out a lot of older films, which I really appreciate because a lot of these, there's no way for me to get them here. Like with a lot of these labels, it's buy them from there or, you know, there's no way to get physical copies. And I do love, I've got really into 70s films. That's become a favorite decade over the last few years. And I can find a lot of things here, but they do also go way back. So I do enjoy that as well. And speaking of way back, Eureka is another favorite for their Masters of Cinema series. They go right back to silent films, and I do love, I've got many Buster Keaton releases from them and some Douglas Fairbanks. And I've got some more to explore, and then they just have interesting things like this Rack and Ruin box set, which is films from Berlin in like after the war. I think they're all 1945 to 1948, so I'm very intrigued to watch these movies very soon. And I have a few Criterions. I don't have too many of these because they're really expensive to get here. Occasionally, if I can find them online on sale, I will pick them up, but yes, it doesn't happen as often as I would like. No Barnes & Noble in Australia for the 50% off sale, unfortunately. And of course, one of the earliest boutique labels I got into was Arrow. Lots of great stuff from them. As of today, these are probably the 4 single movies. I have box sets all over the place, I'm not too sure, but single movies, these are the 4 that I will probably put at the top of my list today. And of course, my Radiance behind me, as I said, there will be lots of them to come because I really love watching their films. I don't feel very qualified to talk about them because a lot of them have a lot of context, and a lot of them are foreign and have context in their countries at the time, which is why I love special features on the boutique label releases, because a lot of times I can watch the special features and hear someone with the knowledge talking about it and helps me appreciate the film more. I probably won't be diving deep into special features and things. I admit I don't always have time to watch everything, unless I'm super into a movie where I just like need everything I can about the movie because I loved it so much. So I'll mention if I've watched things. I'm not big on that. I'm not big on specs. I don't care. I'm just going to be talking about the film itself and just in a general chatty way. And I hope that maybe you'd like to come chat movies with me. So I will start releasing videos for this later this month, I hope. And yeah, I hope you'll join me. And I'm going to go now and watch a movie. And I hope you are watching some great movies too.